Hello. Welcome back to What She Said Sports. All right. We are back at it. Great podcast earlier today. If y'all didn't watch it, like y'all requested, I divided it up and put it into smaller segments. The live stream was great. We were talking about the scandalous Browns. Stefanski has turned in the Browns into a scandalous organization that is diving to lose, right? Trying to do everything they can to lose games. And people are saying, I have never seen anything like this. And we're gonna talk about how it is or who it is that Kevin Stefanski is truly sabotaging. It's not just Sheduer. All right. So before we get to that, let's get to Coach Prime. All right. So our fearless leader, I saw him out there in the snow on the internet. And he was out there covered in snow. And y'all blew me up and let me know that he has a new offensive coordinator, and Pat Schumer no longer works there. Thank you. Where's the applause? Pat Schumer no longer works at Colorado. Thank you, Jesus. And hiring this guy, you could see what it was Coach Prime was after. Common sense, right? Right? One more time. Pat Schumer no longer works at CU or is no longer the offensive coordinator. All right. One more time. Because I know I wanted him fired after the second half of the Georgia Tech game. So Coach Prime made it all the way to the end of the season. People are talking about, is he going to be fired? This, that, and the other. I asked, is he going to be there for long? Because, I see some checkers being played or some chess or whatever you call it. The first chess move Colorado made was what? Paying Rob Livingston all that freaking money. And he wasn't worth it. It was the players doing the work. And see, his contract is there until 2026. So that could still be a problem. But now we got Brennan Marion. Who is Brennan Marion? Well, I looked up his coaching resume. He's the offensive coordinator. He, played for Tulsa. He worked at Howard. Wherever he's been racking up yards with what's called his go-go offense. It's an offense, the way the schemes are designed with the two back set, etc. But it's designed for big playmaking. It's not designed for a yard here or there. It's not designed for bubble screens. It's designed for big playmaking, and it's successful. This guy has worked at Texas, worked at Howard, William and Mary, Pittsburgh, UNLV, Sacramento, and he turned around a 3-9 Sacramento into, I think, a 7-5. So understand this. He was there 1 year, but this guy, he's going to be somebody's head coach. Now, here's the thing. Just like I said, Livingston has been tapped to be there till next year. And, I feel like Colorado did that to try to let Coach Prime know you're not the only person we can go to. I felt like they did that for insurance, just in case, you start hearing all these rumors about Coach Prime moving on. They wanted to protect their program. That's why I felt like they did it. But I'm going to tell you something about this guy right here. So Brennan Marion was going to be up for the job to be offensive coordinator when, remember the head coach in 2021, the one I think that came in, Daryl Cordell or somebody. This guy, Brennan, was supposed to be an offensive coordinator of Colorado, but he didn't get the job. Somebody else got the job. So I'm starting to wonder, whose idea was it to bring this guy back? How did they land on this guy? Because Colorado considered him before, but they, went past him. And I think he must have, maybe that was a good thing for him that he didn't get the job. Because remember, I think that coach got fired with the 1-11 season. So he would have been with that crew. And now he's coming in with Coach Prime. Now, this guy's tough. This guy's good, right? And I also see Colorado, this being an insurance policy, in case they want to move on for Coach Prime, they have somebody in-house. Somebody that's probably better than Livingston. That's this guy. So you can look at this for what you want to look at. The first thing I thought when I saw him, I said, oh, he's black. That says a lot, right? What does this say? What the hell did we say? Coach Prime has never had a black offensive coordinator at Colorado, and we thought it was strange that his black defensive coordinator could come to Colorado but not get the job. Now, I don't know if y'all know this, but I do believe T.C. Taylor was Coach Prime's year 1 or year 2 offensive coordinator. And then year 3, somewhere Bertolone got the job and he came in. The fact that Coach Prime didn't go with Bertolone speaks volumes. It speaks volumes. The fact that he did end up with a black coordinator at a time that the Big 12 seems to be trying to destroy the recruiting of the program, that he was able to hire somebody black, somebody that they had already considered that was black. It's interesting because I see this one hand is full and the other half is empty. Yeah, we were gonna hire him before, so Prime maybe go on and hire him. And if you leave or we got to fire you, he an offensive coordinator, he can run the program. If not him, Livingston can run the program. So it's like you're hiring your potential replacement. That's what it's given. I hate to tell you, but that's what it's given. He married to a white woman, and you know how they like that. The whole thing. People like to say that that's not. Yeah, yes it is. Yes it is. That's a big sign for them. So while I'm happy Pat Schumer is gone, and I'm happy Coach Prime got somebody, I hope he can trust this young man. I would think that he can. I would hate for this young man to be put in a situation like we seen in Cleveland, like Jerry Jeudy, right? Just out here on the take. This guy is good, but I'm going to tell you something. He's probably one of the few black offensive coordinators you're going to see on this level. So that's why I'm telling you, okay, I see it. I'm going to need to get a little further on up the road. To see what's really going on. Because if he's that good, right, he could end up at a Power 5 school at a time where they tearing down black coaches that are the few at Power 4, Power 5 schools. So understand this. With all of the look like the bad, the nastiness toward Coach Prime, seemingly CU being ungrateful, and they let him hire this guy, a black man married to a white woman, and he's an offensive coordinator, and it's not a lot of black them, right? So I don't know, guys. I get it. He's good. He have a go-go offense. If they win, yay! But don't forget, Livingston's still over there. The offense can do fine. But Livingston with his 52 game losses, 52, it can happen. I happen to think that that's why he over there. So while I'm happy and I have studied this and I have looked into it, and at first glance, I'm like, oh, they let him hire a black man. That's huge. That's huge. They let him hire a black man. And then I start looking into this black man and I'm like, okay, he didn't work at, UT, Howard. His offense is not the issue. His offense is proven, right? And I'm like, oh, he was going to work at Colorado already, but they didn't hire him. I'm like, I wonder why they changed their mind. I wonder whose idea this was, right? And then I'm thinking Livingston's still over there, so it don't matter. So it's good that Pat Schumer's gone. Let's see what this do, because Livingston is still over there. And apparently he can't fire Livingston. And you see what happened when he chased Livingston up the side. Things weren't okay. And I don't know why he did that anyway. So I'm cautious about this. I'm cautiously optimistic because there's a lot here. It's not about his skill set. It's not about Coach Prime's skill set. It's about a whole lot of other intangibles that creep into college football because these people racist. Let's just be honest. That's just what it is. So the real question is, why you didn't hire him the first time? Because he was damn good. Why you let Prime hire him now? Is this your decision? Or was this Coach Prime decision? Or y'all had to agree? Because if Brett Bertolone could make the job from Jackson State, but not be the offensive coordinator, and I got to work with some strangers, that was quite interesting. Then here come Pat Schumer. That was quite interesting. And now seemingly we going to a black man, and I know everybody gonna look at that. People who don't understand black people, all skin folk ain't kin folk. This dude is good. But was he hired to be Coach Prime's replacement? That's the question you have to ask yourself. I say yes. And the reason I say yes is because of the ugly way CU seems to be, and the Big 12 seem to be treating Coach Prime. And I keep telling y'all, they keep firing black coaches and they keep rehiring black coaches. But that don't mean they treat them right. I just go get another black coach. Cautiously optimistic. And this one has a white wife. So there you go. All right, let me see what y'all got. CU got a new OC. The go-go offense is coming to Colorado. That's good. Brennan Marion is the head coach at Sacramento State. Yep, we know he's good. He's good. He's a really good guy in terms of his skill set. It's not about his skill set. There's so many intangibles that go along with these decisions. And I personally, the way things have been going, right, before this, it don't make me feel comfortable that CU didn't want to hire this guy in 21, and now they want to hire him now. 21 to 25, that's 4 years. He been out here since 2011. He been good since 2021. So why you want to hire him now? That's the question. So yeah, we know he good. The go-go offense, it'll be exciting to see, but there's a lot going on. It just is. Is the Big 12 going to continue to be nasty towards Coach Prime? Is Colorado going to keep putting out financials that dissuade recruits? So you can't overlook that. And you have to look at this hire and know that this guy was on the table in 2021 and they didn't want it. And at a time when y'all being rude to Coach Prime, oh, okay, well, yeah, remember him? Let's get him. It's giving replacement, that guys. That's what it's giving. Because this guy, he was going to be some big schools head coach at some point. He still will be. And if it ain't Colorado, it's going to be somewhere else. So it's not a situation you could trust. You could just go, oh, okay, we glad Pat Schumer gone, right? Hey there, everybody. How you doing? How you doing? How you doing? Thank you. I appreciate it, James. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. So thank y'all for blowing me up. Now, the way y'all blew me up about this offensive coordinator and the clip that went viral about the Browns diving to lose is the way I want y'all to blow me up. When Pat, what his name? Stefanski get fired. So understand this. It was two of them. And I said they was working together. Now, we didn't got rid of one. I'm assuming Pat Schumer don't work at CU anymore. Hopefully he went back home. Right? That's where Stefanski need to go. And there are people trying to find Stefanski a job. And I have said there's places that Stefanski should go. And it's not to work for anybody else. Maybe to make some license plates. Maybe to make some license plates. That's where he should be going. So cautiously optimistic, guys. Thank you so much. Cautiously optimistic. I'm not about to sit up here and go, yeah, they let Coach Prime have their way after they've been trashing him all week and running off his recruits. No, you have to wonder why the hell they want to double back to this guy. And I said it. I'm like, this guy right here, based on what I've read and about him, is will be placement. Because honestly, how do you think that they could just up and recover from the way they treated him? You can't come back from that like that. You can't come back from they didn't try to run off all your recruits. You can't come back from that. You can't fire the athletic department. You can't fire, the Big 12. You can't fire people for that. You can go hire somebody else and hope and pray it works. But honestly, if they prioritize Livingston over you, it's not a surprise they took your season down. And now they're going to go get somebody that they was already looking at that they didn't want before. And now they want them after they mistreating you. It's your replacement. I'm pretty sure it is. Unless somebody come hire him away first. So, cautiously optimistic, guys. Cautiously optimistic. Yeah, he can't fire the defensive coordinator. That's what we were talking about. He can't fire the defensive coordinator. He and again, this is why I say this dude is his replacement, because we bring in the go-go offense and that does well, right? Now I got Livingston over here trashing the defense again, right? And who knows who else, because it's always some snakes over there. And then what, right? Oh, Prime, you lost 3 games. Then that's how many games from last season then? Your record is upside down. You lost more than you won. Prime, thank you for your services. We're going to elevate this guy to head coach. That's how I see it. That's how I see it. Because I told you when they gave Livingston that contract, what they did was shady. And look at how bad things have been since then. And I'm happy they got rid of Schumer, because it seemed like people was trying to force Schumer to stay in there. But I think maybe Colorado found another way. Because I think they also have to be honest to themselves. We can't just kick Prime any kind of way, because just like Sheduer, you can't just treat Sheduer any kind of way. We can't just treat Prime any kind of way. People were already talking about how nasty CU and the Big 12 was doing Coach Prime. So we got to be careful how we move. So remember that guy that wanted the job at 21, the one that's married to the white chick? Go get him. That's what she said. Because you don't just come back from the way they have been treating Coach Prime. You don't just come back from that. Juju is excited for the new OC. Yup. It said the shaving points and bet the serious problem in the NFL. You say they shaving points and you betting? All right. It said Pat is gone. We good. We hope. It says since he invented his own offense, known as the go-go offense. Yeah, I heard about it. And it's highly successful. I think that's great. I think it's great. He created it. I think it's great. He at CU, but y'all can't just sit up here and act like all is well. You can't do that. You would be a fool to do that, considering the way they've been running off CU's recruits. You can't do that. Yes, it's good. The Wicked Witch in the West is gone. You still got one over there on defense. So I'm glad CP made this move early. It said hopefully this one won't be bought or have ulterior motives. I'm going to tell you what they're going to do with this one. They're going to treat this one like we want you to be our next head coach. And that's to move off of Prime and to elevate this guy. I just told you they was going to hire this guy in 21. Why didn't they? But now you're interested. See, you know they have to move a certain way because of Coach Prime. Understand that. And Livingston over there, the setup is right for the setup. Livingston still can do what he did last season. How many yards did he allow? What, 500 at one point? At least 2 games back to back when they lost by 52 points back to back. So this young man's offense that he created, the go-go offense, which can be high scoring and good for big plays, has to counteract Livingston. So this man has to take a job knowing he has to counteract the defense. So don't act like Livingston just gonna all of a sudden be on board. Let's hope and pray. But he wasn't this season, and he still worked there through 2026, and he gets a bonus if he still worked there in, I think, September. It's just giving replacement. Peace and blessings. How you doing? So what does a black avatar have to do with anything? What is the mindset? The black avatar? What do you mean the black avatar? It said go-go offense. Where is he from? DC? Yeah, that's funny. It said this is great for CU, Nola girl. It said your podcast helped get Pat Sheduer fired. I doubt it, because if my podcast would have helped him, he would have been fired after the halftime of the Georgia Tech game. Because I can see straight through him holding. I'm like, all these kids went out here and did all this hard work, and you go hold him back. And the fact that they couldn't hire him mid-season. If Livingston does the same thing, knowing that his contract is up and they not bringing him back, and he want to sabotage, and he might not be that kind of person, it's gonna be a long season, and that guy gonna be the head coach. It's that he has players coming with him. Okay, that's good. That is very good. It would be funny if CU appropriates go-go. That is funny. It said the players didn't even relate to Pat. It said Coach Prime gone after this contract. It said let's give him a chance. Oh, it ain't us that got to give Coach Prime a chance. You got your own Big 12 conference people tearing him down, which is crazy to me. And then you have CU putting out budgetary, financial, proprietary information to people in the public about right before signing day. It's like Colorado and the Big 12 did everything they could to sabotage Coach Prime's recruiting. And I'm supposed to be happy about them going get this guy that's married to a white woman. Come on now. Y'all done seen this script 400 times. 400 times. It said Marion is coming to help CP. He adopted the Blueprint program. Yep. Sacramento State was on and popping. And I said, it's a lot of schools. After Coach Prime got to Colorado, that was on and popping. I wish the best for Colorado. I do. But I'm not going to sit up here and act like Livingston not still over there. I'm not going to act like it wasn't shady for Colorado to give Livingston that contract that ties him through next year. I'm not going to sit up here and ignore how the Big 12 and CU have been treating Coach Prime the last couple of weeks, trying to run off his recruits. I hope the best for these kids, per usual. I hope the best for the new guy who got to come in and defeat the offensive coordinator. I wish Coach Prime, now if you want me to be happy, I wish Coach Prime could replace Livingston, the one he chased up the sideline. That's what I wish. But the fact that he can't do that, just like he couldn't get rid of Schumer mid-season or after the Georgia Tech game, it's just a wait and see, guys. It's just a wait and see. If they're weaponizing him as a replacement, that's what I said. That's exactly what I said, right? Yeah, that's what I said. Or they saying they want Coach Prime out at CU. Here's the thing. The way they've been tripping, what did the guy, remember the guy, Chesney, the booster guy, the one that used to play for CU, what did he say before all of the running off of the recruits? The best case scenario is that Coach Prime quits. That's what he said. So that answers your question. Yes, they seem like they want him gone. And this guy is his replacement. Because like I said, 3 games in next year, this guy right here is going to take over. They could have hired this guy in 2021. Now they want to let Coach Prime pick his own offensive coordinator. Where are we going to have a virtual party when, yes, we're having a virtual party when Stefanski's fired. I can have a bonnet on my head and some kind of pomade on my face. But I'm going to wrap my hair up in a towel. We're going to sit down and we're going to praise dance and we're going to celebrate because the Wicked Witch of the West is gone. That's Pat Schumer. So now I need the Wicked Witch of the East to get the hell on. And that's Stefanski. So one down, want to go. And the way people out here trying to find Stefanski a job, I'm like, so y'all know he get ready to get fired, right? So, yep, Schumer's gone. That Schumer's gone. And then, now we got Stefanski got to go. Because believe me when I say they was working together. It said Primetime is a 2-time Super Bowl champion and a Hall of Fame athlete who gives life to football. He does. But for whatever reason, Colorado was treating him like, we ready for you to go. And when I see this guy, I'm like, oh, now he can get a black offensive coordinator when they want to kick him out the door. Because I want to replace you with a black guy so people don't say we racist. That's what they keep doing. They keep doing it over and over and over, and they give each of them 2 years. Trying to put out a story, we don't have no money. Something about Coach Prime trying to allude that Coach Prime's contract is the reason they don't have no money. I'm like, how about the money you gave to Livingston? Because the money you gave to Livingston, you could have gave to them kids. So no, this is his replacement. That's how I see it. It's that baby Brennan is their backup plan. That's exactly what I think he is. I think people need to be cautious. They need to chill out because understand a lot has happened to run off recruits from CU and from the Big 12. And when you got Chesney out here saying the best case scenario is that he quits, and they look like they're trying to do stuff to annoy him so he can quit, then I finally go get a black offensive coordinator that I could have gotten in 2021. Not a coincidence, guys. I even wonder who suggested this guy. Was it CU? Or did Coach Prime suggest it because Coach Prime is smart, knowing that they consider him in 2021, so maybe they'll do it now. I don't know. But it feels like Coach Prime's replacement. I'm not going to lie to you. Everything says that's what it is. Coach Prime is smart. He went and got a new OC and a coach that will bring some of his players from college, and they are good. So good. Hire Coach Prime. I hope so. Coach Prime can fire any coach on the team. Oh, well, okay. Thomas said Coach Prime's ego has been affected by all of this since the illness and the draft debacle. Yeah, they just been piling on. That's just what it is. That's when I saw him today. In the snow. I said, I got busy. I wanted to post, we need to pray for our fearless leader because they piling on him. I mean, that's really what it is, right? They piling on him, whether it's with Sheduer. And you can see Sheduer has transcended. Sheduer has overcome the psychological warfare. But, Coach Prime, now he got to overcome it. And don't forget, the man was just dealing with, battling cancer. And again, I told you, stress not good. Stress is not good for that. So I just wanted to say, look, we need to go ahead on and pray for our fearless leader. Because I feel like they've been piling on and trying to make it tough for him. And like Chesney said, the best case scenario is if he quit. I'm like, look here. If you said you was going to pay this man, was it $59 million? And now you don't have it, and you got to pay him, and you putting stories out there in the news that you don't have the money. And what did I say to y'all before the season end? I say, y'all don't think it's strange that they not coming in and coming at Coach Prime he got a losing record and y'all paying him all this money. That was so surprising. And now you know why. They intentionally didn't say it. They wanted to wrap it around a budgetary constraint. We don't have, it's crazy for the Big 12 to tell people to stay at other schools and not come to Colorado when they got 16 schools in the Big 12. So they should go to Oklahoma State, huh? Y'all don't think that's crazy? And now, following that conversation, the day before recruiting day, Colorado don't have no money and not gonna have none in 2026. But they know they gotta pay Coach Prime. So why would you put that out there? It makes it look like, well, we prioritize the coach, but we don't have no money. See, my whole problem with this whole situation is it goes all the way back to Jackson State. Like, I don't know who thought this was a good idea. I don't know who didn't look at the fact that how they treated the other black coaches. I don't know who looked at the fact that they ain't have no money to hire when they hired him. I don't know who looked at the fact that how much NIL money they was gonna have, because it was still kind of young, but still. I don't know, but it is a lot here. It's a lot to this situation that I feel like could have been avoided, right? They didn't have no money to hire him, but they went and found it. So, but the best case scenario is that he go quit. How about you go fire the money and go find $44 million and buy him out? Or are you gonna stress him out enough so he has to use his medical exemption? You see? They piling on him. And they moved the athletic director out the way so they could do this. So why you want recruiting? If Coach Prime isn't good, why you have to sabotage the recruiting? Because if he gets some good players, he gonna ball out. See, the problem is, I'm telling you, these people came and got Coach Prime. I want y'all to think about this. These people, I want you to think about exactly what has really transpired. And think about who you're dealing with here. Coach Prime flips Travis from Florida State to Jackson. And within one season, so I'm going to repeat this. Coach Prime flips Travis Hunter, a 5-star, from PWI, a Power 5, to an HBCU, a black school. And other kids ready to start, they start committing to Jackson. Within one season, the PWI folks flipped Travis right back to a PWI from an HBCU. Do you not understand that that's what happened? And the moment Travis is gone, they stick a Coach Prime. Do you not understand what really took place here? Coach Prime flipped Travis from them. And they said, hey, we're going to flip you and Travis back over here. They didn't want Coach Prime. No. They wanted what they lost. A 5-star to an HBCU, and to stop the recruiting at an HBCU. You don't think you see these people sitting up here disrupting Coach Prime's own recruiting at Colorado, and you don't think they did that to disrupt the recruiting at HBCUs? Shit. That's exactly what they did. That's why no sooner than Travis and them gone. See, people confused because of Sheduer, but look at how they treated Sheduer. This was about Travis. This was about Coach Prime flipping Travis. They didn't want to have to get Travis from an HBCU. So bring him over here. Yeah. It wouldn't surprise me if all of the stupid stuff that happened at Jackson State was intentional to make them not like it, not want to stay. Because dropping that ball at the end of the Celebration Bowl was not an accident, Mark Andrews. It was not. It was not. And that kid moved on to another school and got engaged and all of that. So Coach Prime takes a 5-star who they know is going to go to the NFL, who they know can win the Heisman, and flips him from a PWI. And within one season, make Coach Prime bring that recruit back to a PWI. And now that recruit is gone, you could go now. That's exactly what they did. This was never about Coach Prime coming to change any damn thing. Because if I don't want Sheduer changing the NFL, I damn sure don't want Coach Prime changing college football. Look at the other black coaches before Coach Prime at Colorado. Look at Herm Edwards, and look at the one over there was at Texas A&M. I forget his name now. Coach Prime flipped Travis, and they flipped Coach Prime to get Travis back. They did not want to draft Travis out of an HBCU. They damn sure wasn't giving him the Heisman. That's why they robbed Sheduer. It was never about them. If they want Prime, gonna pay him off so he can focus on his health. Right? No, they just want to do what? Make his life hard. That's what they're gonna do to try to force him to quit. Think about everything that has happened with Sheduer, right? Think about everything that has happened, how difficult they have made it for Sheduer. And I said, what the hell is the goal? Do you want him to quit and go start his own stuff, or go to another league, or what? What do you want? Because here's the thing: you never had to draft him, and it's the same thing with Colorado. So you really never wanted Coach Prime. You just wanted to flip this recruit back that you know was going to the NFL, and you didn't want to get him. And you could not devalue Travis Hunter. And you didn't want to start the trend that was already forming with black players from white schools wanting to go to HBCUs within one season. And I don't know how people missed that. I don't know how people missed that. You flip Travis from them, and they come get you to bring Travis back to them. And now that Travis gone, you could go. And we robbed your son while he was here. Do y'all not see that? Do y'all not see that that's what they did? This is actually bigger than them wanting to disrupt what was going on at HBCUs. This was a get back. And now the best thing he could do is just quit. So he don't get paid, his son don't get the Heisman or on the Heisman stage, and he don't get drafted in the first round, and he was gonna go undrafted and he being mistreated. That's why Travis got Sheduer's money, and Sheduer got Travis' jersey number. That's his replacement. I think Coach Prime is ready to go after next year to take care of his son. It said maybe get an NFL job. I don't know. Everybody that stabbed him in the back, though. It said no one in the Big 12 will not be able to stop the go-go offense. Let's hope so. It said if CU want to stay relevant, they better keep CP. As a consumer paying for CU merch, it will be over. Facts. Totally agree. It said, talk your stuff. I am learning a lot. Thank you, Julian. Thank you. It says swap Coach Prime and Stefanski. I know that's right. And that would be perfect. That would be perfect, right? Like I said, they're trying to find Stefanski another job. Somebody, if he get fired, he gonna get another job. I said, I don't, he pariah. I don't know why nobody would want him right now. He got that organization so scandal ridden. The only reason they talk about him moving on is so you are distracted from the fact that he has likely paid or bribed or the leaders of the offense to take dives and lose, or to start skipping and lose. That's the scandal. That's worse than this NBA outside gambling thing. What we're talking about is internal. What we're talking about is, remember, the Ravens will find $100,000 because it was written incorrectly, Lamar Jackson's practice status. So what the hell should happen to Stefanski with all of these players, his leaders, all deciding to take dives and start skipping so the team could lose? What you think ought to happen to him if the Ravens was fired $100,000? What you think ought to happen to Stefanski? The bettors ought to be, people bet on that game based on skill set. They didn't bet for it to come out that the Browns have been cheating to lose. That changes everything, right? It doesn't just hurt Sheduer, hurt Quishan, hurt Andrew Berry. It hurts the whole betting thing. And that's why people were asking if Stefanski was betting, because when he was just leaving Dylan in to lose, everybody knew what to do. But now people are thinking, well, Dylan's gone, Sheduer can win, and what happens? They faking it. They dive in to lose, skip into my loot to lose. They cheated. And he gonna get another job. You gotta be crazy out of your mind to bring that scandal to your franchise. The only place he should be going is to JAIL. That's it. Racketeering. All right. It said, where is Schumer going? It said the NFL seems to rotate coaches. He might end up back over there, probably in Cleveland. It said, I truly feel like God bless CP with discernment, and he has or will warn him if anything is coming. I think he already know. Coach Prime is smart. I think Coach Prime already know what's going on, because one thing about it, he was not happy that they prioritized Livingston over him. He wasn't. He wasn't. And he could know that this guy is his replacement. And that's why he like, you know what? Let me get somebody good for these kids in case they fire me. Facts. Facts. And I say 3 games in, with Livingston still over there, it could go the same way. That's just fact. And they don't get called racist because they hired a black guy. Yep. It said, with that video going viral of the suspects on the O-line, it said will affect the NFL investigation on Stefanski's evil tactics. You would think, but the NFL can't be trusted to investigate itself. They need a congressional investigation. They can't be trusted to investigate themselves. They investigated the Gruden situation, and it took a congressional hearing to get that. Because they investigated and nothing happened. Carl Reed referred him. Okay, that's good info. That's good info. What if Schumer goes to Cleveland? It could happen. It could happen. It said the cowboy hat wearing OC. There you go. Optimistically cautious. Guys, let me tell you something. It's good Shermer gone, but y'all gonna need to be optimistically cautious with this situation. Okay? Coach Prime could know that this is his replacement. Right? You don't get over what they disrupted this man's recruiting. That is the biggest message, that we want you gone. He probably knows that. So he might be trying to put a coach in place to replace him. Because he know what they trying to do. He know what they trying to do. But here they better find some money. They better find some damn money. I know that. Instead of trying to harass that man, they better find some money. Maybe Coach Prime is considering leaving so that he can rest. I don't think he needs to rest. I think he's okay. I think the problem is coming in with CU behavior. It's ungrateful, but it shows you. It shows you what I say. They didn't come for Coach Prime. They came for Travis. And not just because Travis was good, but they didn't want to start the trend of having to draft 5 stars from HBUs. That's what they did. So you brought him over there. Now we're going to bring you over here. And I don't know how people didn't see that that's all they wanted. I think I would think. I try to put myself in his shoes at that point, right? I would think to myself, how do I know that you don't only want me to come over there because I flipped him? That's what I would have thought. At least that's what I think. I don't know. So it's a lot that was missed in this whole situation. They didn't come for Coach Prime. That's why, remember when we were talking about this, I said, y'all, how is it that they say they wanted Coach Prime to come and help turn around the program, but they wouldn't let him bring his offensive coordinator and defensive coordinator? That don't make no sense. And it didn't. And then he had strangers that set him up. And I think the coach that set him up thought he was going to be the head coach. Right. And we talked about how Schumer really got there. And we know he came recommended, just like y'all saying this guy came recommended. Remember, Coach Prime encouraged Marshall Faulk to take the job at Southern. Told him, you need to go apply for that. So, I don't know, guys. Cautiously optimistic. There's a lot that has transpired that you can't go back from, that they have proven we don't want you, we don't value you. Travis gone. You could go too. Not a coincidence. Not a coincidence how Sheduer got treated. You can't ignore none of that. You can't ignore. Why would you mess up his recruits? Because you know he gonna win and you don't want him to win. You want him gone because mission accomplished. The reason I didn't let your coaches come over here is because I didn't want you to turn around the program. I wanted you to bring Travis over here. And did. I wanted you to bring the 5-star recruit that you flipped from a PWI back to a PWI. And did. Got played. People keep saying, well, you don't think if he had stayed at Jackson State, my Sheduer wouldn't have been drafted? I said, did you not watch the draft? I'm like, hey, did you not watch the draft? Did you not watch the draft? Sheduer didn't get nothing. Travis got everything. That's who they were after the whole time. Players like Travis. They didn't want to draft those 5 stars from HBCUs. Marion loves Prime, and CP knows what he's getting in Prime. I mean, that's all well and good. It said, I think CP will give up his money. They are stupid. If they think he gonna give up his money, yeah, they are stupid. They are stupid. I totally agree with that. It said how? They ain't got no money. Right. They ain't got no money. I'm like, wait a minute. And that's a slap in the face. That's a slap in the face. See, they didn't even want the Prime effect because they ain't care about the Prime effect at first. See, Coach Prime was at Jackson State before Travis. That's what people don't understand. People think Travis was there the whole time. No, Coach Prime was there first, then Sheduer, then Travis. They didn't start tripping until Travis got there. They didn't give a damn when it was Sheduer out there with the other players. They didn't care. There was no talk about nothing. They did not give a damn. We was just all living our happy HBCU football life. We sure were. But when Travis entered the equation, when Travis got flipped, and everybody know Sheduer had something to do with that. You see how Sheduer got treated? See how Coach Prime got treated? And now they ready for him to go. And they ain't got no money. He might as well just quit. And they go get another black guy that they could have hired in 2021. Who married to a white woman. I hope firing Schumer leads to Kevin getting fired. Me too. But he might end up over there. If CP leaves, he's leaving the program in good hands with Marion. That's facts. And that's why I feel that Coach Prime likes this hire. To me, that's what it's about. It's about looking forward. It's about, if they fire me, like he looked forward and decided Juju needed to redshirt, right? That was looking forward. And that was good because I didn't want to see Juju out there with nowhere, with Pat Schumer nowhere. And I don't even know why he had to be in the booth. So he's looking forward with this guy. And I think it's a happy medium because I can see this guy's trajectory, right? His career trajectory. I can see he's going to be a head coach somewhere. And why not see you at some point, whether it's next year or year after that. See, you already knows this guy because he interviewed for the offensive coordinator job, and now it came back to him at a time where they ready to boot out Coach Prime. And I know Carl Reed probably told him, you probably gonna be the next head coach. And he like, okay. And Coach Prime might have told him that too. They might be on the up and up about it, so they can all go out here, win, and do their best. There's no elephant in the room. The elephant in the room is now Livingston, and it was Livingston before. I told y'all, I said that's really shady to prioritize Livingston like that. That means they're gonna try to make him Coach Prime's successor. Now, and if that happens, if they choose him instead of the OC gonna get hired somewhere else. I need to know, how long was his contract? Does anybody know how long his contract is? Is it 2 years? Schumer is toast. Yeah, he should never been there. CP made the money in year 1 for this very reason. Where's the money? They don't want to give it to him. Any news on Goodell's nephew, Charlie, at JSU? Nah, I haven't heard anything. It said, I am impressed that most of these kids CP is bringing in have junior after their name. They got fathers. Okay. It said Texas A&M. Yep, Coach Sumlin. So let me tell you something. When Coach Prime came in, Sumlin was first, in my opinion, that I was aware of. The orbit of understanding how they treat these black coaches. Now, they probably were others. But Sumlin, you talk about done dirty. And then Herm Edwards. And I knew when I saw what was going on at Colorado, I said, they trying to Herm Edwards Coach Prime. And I said, I want to see if they're going to come down on this field and fire him. I said, the only reason they're not firing Coach Prime is because people will be like, damn, the man had cancer. What the hell is wrong with you? So then we're going to go into next season. So they probably rubbed it in Coach Prime's face that he hired his replacement, or they approved of his replacement, right? Not a coincidence. Not a coincidence. Not a coincidence. What everybody's missing is Dion is not stressing because if you don't believe he didn't want you there. No, it's not about that. And that's, y'all wrong about that. I'm gonna tell you something. When I read that this guy was reviewed, looked at by Colorado, I said, I wonder whose idea this was. I wonder whose idea this was. Because on one hand, Colorado didn't have to approve of him. But because they were already familiar with him in 2021, they probably thinking, oh, okay. Understand, they looking at this guy as Coach Prime replacement. If you thought it, you were right to think it. And they probably, Coach Prime and Marion have had the conversation. And to me, that's what I think is going to be. I would hope they can have a wonderful season, but don't forget, Livingston's still over there to muck it up through 4 games next season and make the switch. And don't be surprised if Livingston is the replacement. Because to me, that's why they gave him that contract before Coach Prime. And now you should see that when they put that contract together for Coach Prime, they never intended for him to live through it, to be the head coach through it. They never intended that. That's why they so ready for him to go. They want Coach Prime to know, you flipped Travis from a white school, and we flipped you and Travis over here back to a white school. We made you bring him right back to us. And they did. That's why they were so mean to Sheduer. That's why they so mean to Coach Prime. It was never about either one of them. And if Coach Prime gone here, they probably gonna take Sheduer's name off the damn building and leave Travis's up there. But don't get it twisted. I'm not saying they wanted Travis. I'm saying Travis was a 5-star flip from a white school back to a black school, and other black kids were starting to do the same thing. And Colorado hiring Coach Prime was a get back for Coach Prime taking one of the best players in college football and bringing him to an HBCU where Coach Prime knew they were going to have to draft Travis from, and they don't want that. They don't want that. They don't draft from HBCUs high like that. And they didn't want their hand to be forced. So it was get back. They just played in his face. That's all. That's it. They just played in his face. It said, Marion got love for Prime just like Fran Brown. I mean, they all like each other, but that don't mean they don't get pit together. How often do you know that black men get pit together? Hell, look at Cleveland. Look at Jerry Jeudy. Look at the fact that Sheduer and Quinshon Judkins is being sabotaged. And Andrew Berry's draft picks are being sabotaged. These are Andrew Berry's draft picks. Do you not want him to get the most in their trade value? You trying to make Sheduer look not he's not good, and you trying to hurt Quinshon Judkins. So Andrew Berry's being sabotaged. Quinshon Judkins is being sabotaged. Everybody that played for the Browns, including Sheduer Sanders, because these people are trying to lose, and the bettors ought to be pissed off. But I don't know how betting works. Yep, it's crazy work. It said, bless up. It said, you cracked this Scooby-Doo case. Yep. Thank you so much. It said, that's deep, Nola girl. When you said Sheduer got Travis' number and Travis got Sheduer money, that's bad. People miss that. I said, y'all, they did that to tell Sheduer, we never wanted you. We need people like this. And now they got Travis at home. And I asked the question, I wonder if the insurance company is paying his salary like Deshaun, because he asked for his $31 million up front and they want to get their money back. See, these people are all about retaliation and get back. And people keep saying Sheduer needs to ask for a trade. I'm like, no, black quarterbacks don't ask for trades and get them. That don't work like that. How you think Deshaun got in the situation he was in? Them women didn't come forward. They got found. And they'd already broken this man's house and cleaned out the contents of his nightstand. I don't know what the hell was in there. What's in your nightstand? Devices. That's how you get stuff on people. So when you ask for a trade, I'm going to do to you what we did to Deshaun Watson. I'm going to make your life hell so you can ask for a trade, and then you're going to find out who robbed you. This is so far beyond football. That's why I watch HBCU football, because they really just out there playing. They really out there playing. And I like that. I just want to play some football. This is crazy. I'm like, hey, so you done robbed this kid so you can get something on him. And he got some evidence you want. And you're going to hold it over his head. So when he asks for a trade, you're going to do him like Deshaun. Understand this. They saying Deshaun praises. I'm like, hold on. What Deshaun said earlier in the summer, I'm going to take Sheduer under my wing. They told him to stay inside. Now Kevin Stefanski over here talking about, Deshaun is really helping everybody. You know, Sheduer is doing outstanding. outstanding. I'm like, did you say that? Did you say Sheduer's doing outstanding? Really? He doing outstanding. Okay. Pariah. Stefanski has made himself pariah. So it says, sadly, we have to be so cautious with a game. We just want to enjoy it. Facts. Go watch some HBCU football. They don't have a problem. They might have some different problems. And I still say, I don't care. And I might be the lone person on the island. I say, Coach Prime should have never left Jackson State. Because now, everything that they dangled as a carrot, they have taken away. What was that? At least he got the first contract. Is that one over yet? Is that one over yet? What was it that they dangled in front of him? Oh, Sheduer could win the Heisman, or Travis or Sheduer, probably Sheduer. Heisman, getting drafted high. They disrupted all of that. It's like they've been telling him, we never wanted you. Think about it. I'll let you bring your Louis luggage in the players. Travis. They had a whole campaign against Sheduer. They didn't even want Travis to be the Heisman. That took some wrangling too. They don't forget, they tried to deny Travis that. But I wanted him over here. See, it wasn't about Travis. It was about black talent. And so, because you flipped black talent from a white school, we flipped him right back. And we got you over here. And now he gone, and you can go. That's why this is happening, guys. That's why the people that were his friends suddenly turned. Just like in the NFL. 31 NFL scouts and executives came out to Colorado first game in 2024. And look at how the draft went. For every last one of them. So much so, Travis's brother looking at Ohio State, not considering Colorado. LeJontay got a cousin. He a baller, a receiver. I think it's Pittsburgh. Looking at Pittsburgh. You see how they ran off the recruits. They try to run off Juju. They ran off the other kid to other quarterback to Texas Tech. They're trying to run off Jordan Seaton to Texas Tech. London Merritt, all of them gonna be run off. Anybody that was worth some salt coming, the flip to Miami here, there, whatever, and they making Coach Prime build just like he was at an HBCU. Making his life harder. You are so right. And I knew Travis was going to get injured in the NFL. He's so small and players are so envious of him. Travis chopped off his hair. Personality completely changed. Yeah, he cut his hair because I think he's the father now and he wanted to be different. But yeah, the NFL was, they didn't really want Travis like that. They just wanted to hurt Sheduer, really. Because you see how they underutilized Travis. It was never about Travis. It was about the recruiting to the black schools. It was about 5 stars being flipped from white schools to black schools. So we flipping Coach Prime over here so you can bring this 5-star right back to me. When I thought about that, I said, has Coach Prime realized that's what the hell they did? Got they get back? Oh, you took him from us. Okay. And we made you bring him right back. And now you could go. We don't have no money. How you gonna pay the man if you ain't got no money? Oh, we could pay you, but you can't do nothing else. So that makes him a lame duck. Because we see the game they are playing. That's it. It said, who is the new AD? I don't know. Did they announce the person? It said, many of days I wanted Coach Prime to stay at Jackson State. Yes, Lord. Yes, Lord. Because I swear, this was done to be ugly. This was not. That's why he was set up 3 years in a row. We even talked about it. We were like, how the hell Pat Schumer get to Colorado? Because he don't even fit the offense. This guy, Marion, that's why I said, if you look at this guy's resume, you can see he fits the offense, making big plays. He fits what Coach Prime want to do. High scoring, big plays. The Pat Schumer didn't fit that. That's why we were like, how did he get there? And I did the little chart showing the guy that was friends with the Dallas Cowboys. You know, from the Dallas Cowboys. Think about how Jerry Jeudy just turned his back. Not Jerry Jeudy. Jerry Jones just turned his back on Coach Prime and Sheduer. And Mark Zimmerman, that was his name, made that recommendation. And I think he just retired. Yep. I'm like, God darn. I'm like, you, it's like they took it personal because Coach Prime flipped Travis. It was like everything was designed. And I told y'all, I said, as soon as Coach Prime flipped Travis, they cared because remember, they was at Jackson State before Travis came. See, people don't know that. They just think, no, it wasn't until Coach Prime flipped Travis. It was on. It was like, oh. And then when he got hired, think about it. Look at how they booted their cars. They kept getting tickets. They weren't welcome. I just needed you to bring that 5-star over here and disrupt the recruiting over there. And then when it's time for him to go, I'm disrupting your recruiting. I'm like, Jesus, that's ugly. I mean, like, ooh, like, had Coach Prime put all this together? Like, ooh, all of it. All of it. That's just sad, bro. People doing you dirty like that. It said they are taking their money to perform surgery. It said, giving their doctors the money these players are making. It said, take the money back one way or another. It said, remember when Sheduer put out that message when CU lost, I forgot which game. However, it said, us Sanders men are going to have to regroup because could this be the start of the regroup? CP is a spiritual person. I think so. When Sheduer, I don't know if y'all were paying attention to Sheduer the other day. He said, he sent out, I think it was the same day it was announced that either Will Shepherd got cut and somebody else, they were waving people off different teams. Darius Slay from the Steelers, they parted ways. Sheduer put out, thank you, God, because he be knowing. He be knowing that they be trying to boot him out, but he still made it again, right? So, he know. I mean, Sheduer knows. So when he said, I'm the last one, I think I did a members only video talking about, did y'all hear what Sheduer said? He was the last one. Did y'all watch that video if you remember? If not, go watch it. If you're thinking of joining, it's a good time. Go watch the video. That's what I picked up on. I also picked up on something else. We're going to talk about it Friday. You got to listen to Sheduer when he talk. He really be telling you stuff. So notice Sheduer is not shaken or deterred by anything. Like I said, he has transcended the psychological warfare. So members, we'll talk about that on Friday at 6:00. It said, you're brilliant, Queen. Thank you so much. Thank you. It said the only proof of the Stefanski sabotage gate will not be in text messages, but in who Stefanski is inviting to dinner, who Stefanski is not invited. Right. And not just dinner. Remember the whole golf outing? If you're familiar with the golf outing was a big deal because they didn't invite Sheduer. They invited Dylan and they invited who? Batonio. So Dylan and Jerry Jeudy, look at who they pivot them to, who they pushed them towards. So Jerry Jeudy was forced to share a locker with Flacco. Flacco was Jerry Judy's locker mate. And then somehow they got Jerry Jeudy hooked up with Dylan. I don't know. People say they friends and hang out or whatever. Now, think about what I just said about the golf outing. And then you know all about the dinners. The golf outing was with Batonio. So Jerry Jeudy is doing what? Skipping to my loo, stopping on routes, dropping by passes, and causing problems. Batonio is taking a dive. Literally taking a dive. That's two people. I don't know if Conklin was at the golf course, but it wouldn't surprise me if he was. There has to have been some way Stefanski has communicated to the leaders of the team, I want you to stay away from Sheduer. Now, you can intimidate people without saying a word. Understand that. Firing, one, in the summer, pairing Jerry Jeudy up with Flacco so he can't make his own decision and pair up with Sheduer. That's one, right? Tony Brown gravitated towards Sheduer. I fire him. That tells everybody. And I said, that's why Jerry Jeudy not gravitated towards Sheduer, because he didn't want to be retaliated against. We talked about that. So he bought into the submission. Then, you had Batonio making his comment about Sheduer to the media and the media laughing. And I said, that's not good, right? He's the leader of the offense. So everybody else is supposed to do what he says. He's on the golf course with Dylan and Stefanski. So that's the connection. He takes them on outings, or he positions them with who they need to gravitate towards. And then he makes an example out of people who gravitate and step out of line. Like Myles Garrett. We didn't know Myles Garrett had 8 speeding tickets. We didn't know about number 7, but we heard about number 8. He was so reckless, and he switched up after that. And he just spoke up again, and then things started to happen again. They took him out the game so he couldn't get his record. So they intimidate, retaliate. You would think Stefanski was mafia, the way he moving around them, ruling by intimidation and fear. Again, the only place Stefanski should be going is jail. People think I'm joking. No, I'm not. There's so much that you don't know, because it's growth, what you're seeing from the outside looking in. And what you're seeing from the outside looking in is racketeering, collusion, negligence, racial discrimination, retaliation, coercion, bribery. Yeah. Not only is it unethical, everything I just mentioned is illegal. Fraud. And they talking about he gonna get another job. I'm like, yeah, okay. That mean they trying to offload him. They scared to fire him because he know where the bodies are buried. That's why. And remember, his father was supposed to be this big wig in the NBA. So how they just gonna discard him? What does this say about his father? I told y'all they gotta watch how they move, but they better move fast. That's all I know, because they got them a scandal over there. People been calling it Brownie Gate, Doggy Gate, Stefanski Gate, Sabotaged Gate, trying to come up with a name for it. Yeah. It said Coach Prime and Sheduer are spiritual. It said they get their warnings and their prophecies. So when Coach Prime said, when Sheduer said, I'm the last one, he knew that they was coming after Coach Prime. CP is making his money with underwear and fisher rods. He is not going to be denied. Let him go. Go back to HBCU. Nah, they need to give him that money. I'm sorry. You came and disrupted what the hell I had going on over here. I'm gonna need that 59 million or that 44 million. I'm gonna need that money. I'm gonna need it. You're gonna need to go get it. The fact that they ain't have it when he got hired, and then they found it, they need to go find this. But they got people out here associated with the university, even if they're alums, saying it's better off that he quit. No, I'm gonna need you to go find that money, because you disrupted everything he had going on at black schools for your own benefit. Maybe CP sees the writing on the wall. I think so. Absolutely. I mean, how can you not, when they have disrupted your recruiting? How can you not? So this guy can take them into the future. Let me tell you what I think should happen. I think now that what's the little one, the Wicked Witch of the West is gone, Schumer, I think Stefanski should go. And now Haslam, I know, is a problem, but Stefanski willing to do the work. See, you're not gonna find a lot of people willing to do what Stefanski does. When they act racist, they get caught, and then you end up in a situation like the Gruden guy, right? Or you end up with the Richie Incognito and Jonathan Martin, and it's a scandal and it's an embarrassment to the brand, right? You end up with Bounty Gate targeting Cam Newton, right? So Target ain't far for the NFL if they keep on. It's just not. It's not. You know what's happening? People who don't pay attention are leaning in to what's going on. And if black people were disgusted with Target over DEI, which only benefit 4% of black people, understand when they figure it all out, when they catch up to where we been, where this podcast community has been, and they're like, hold on, you doing this to all 16 black quarterbacks? So wait a minute. You discriminate against all, you don't want no black quarterbacks. And then when people start learning about the lawsuit, how they said black people were dumb. And they gonna say, we didn't say, we said black NFL players. And we like, really? You're saying black people are dumb, dumber than white people. That's what you're saying. That's why they settled it rather than go to court. Marion is already a head coach, gave up his position to take a head coach to help Prime. We're talking about a head coach at a Power 4 school. Yeah, I know he was a head coach, but this is a different level, right? Again, he becomes a head coach. You're going to see him on a private jet. I don't know if Sacramento have private jet. They might. But Colorado is probably bigger. That's all, I'm saying. It comes with different perks at the different level, right? And I know he turned that school up. I saw them over in the season. I'm like, okay, they've adopted the culture and everything, and that's cool. But let's not act like they're not ugly to Coach Prime over here. It said the entire fiasco would make for a good movie or documentary. Yeah, facts. You know what? It would make for a good movie about sports, about how it is. It's kind of like that movie when the players went swimming and with Terrence Howard. I forgot what movie that was. At the little recreational center in Pittsburgh or somewhere, something like that. Coach Prime going, being a famous athlete. He retires. He start coaching his kids, and then they get older, and then it's time for them to go. Then he gets the job at a college, and it's time for them to go to a college. They split up. Then they all come together at this college, and it's glorious and it's wonderful. And this school don't have a lot of resources. This school, where they got the windows busted out and all that kind of stuff. And then this kid, like Travis, runs into his son, and they out tossing the ball around. And he tell Travis, you should come play with us, and he like, yeah, I might, and then Travis talking to his girlfriend while they going to the Sonic. And he said, I'm thinking about, what you think about Jackson State? And she like, oh yeah, that's cool. And they pack up and they moving to Jackson State. And then everybody's a big happy family eating around, and they play and they winning and they doing well. And everybody's happy. And then you kind of see off to the distance, this white man shows up to the scene, and he's looking through the fence, and he got his hands in his pocket with his fedora on, and he's looking. And then he takes something out, and he writes something down, and he take a picture, and then he leave. And the next thing you know, you hear the news. Oh, Coach Prime did so well. A bigger school is calling, and you think it's all great. And they talking as a family. Yeah, this will be good. So-and-so probably going to get drafted and all this, be the Heisman and everything, and everybody all happy. And the next thing you know, they run off, the NFL shows up to all of their games, and, they got the little private jet, and they doing all the film. It's just wonderful. And then you see these people on the inside talking in the hallway as Coach Prime walks by, and then when he get closer, they stop talking. And it's something is going on, and then they just start losing, and then the refs start cheating, and then it just starts to unspiral. And then you realize, you might have to fire somebody. And then you get a phone call. Hey, I heard about what's going on over there at Colorado Prime. I got somebody that will be good to replace that buster. Pat Schumer. Remember him from the NFL? Yeah. Well, your son and Travis and all them guys, they gonna be headed over here. So, it might be a good idea to have them coached by him. Yeah, I remember Schumer. Yeah, okay. All right. Well, you my buddy. I trust you. He brings Schumer in. And it's all gravy for a second. But then Sheduer is like in the locker room. And people don't know he in there. I hope y'all following me. And people don't know he in there. And people walk by and he overhear them talking. And they talking about the plot to take down. Yeah, we're going to get Coach Prime out of here. So we got Schumer. He going to go ahead on and set it up. And nobody's supposed to know. And then they leave. And Sheduer's like, oh my God. Like, and then he mad. He just look mad, right? And then what happens? He tells his dad, or he don't tell his dad. Maybe he don't tell his dad. Maybe he just star, and they're like, Sheduer put up 500 yards, and Sheduer did this, so they could have lost, and Sheduer kept them in the game. And you hearing all these wonderful things like the Baylor game, like Sheduer cemented his legacy because he was sacked 8 times, but he still got it done, kept the game in it, and he and Travis put it over the top, and LaJonte were catching the ball, and everybody just cheers, and it's time for the draft, and everybody says Sheduer gonna be a second round athlete, and the next thing you know, Travis get drafted where Sheduer's supposed to be, and Sheduer end up in the locker room looking at his jersey, which is Travis's number. And he like, what the hell did I do? And while Travis is going on to his new team, he decided he want to add his money. And they mad at him, so they don't want to let him play much. Next thing you know, he has a non-contact injury that likely the insurance company is paying for, which is probably the same amount of money that they gave him when he went fishing with Coach Prime. $31 million. Deshaun Watson, 2.0. And then Sheduer's at practice and everybody being mean to him, and he go to do this and they boo and they harassing him and they messing up his locker and they following him home, and they got this every time he turn around, some chick that worked there with a badge on is following him at the grocery store, and he like, what is going on? Is somebody follow me? Then he gets stopped by the police, and then they all just descend upon him. He's awful. He did, and they got people out here with domestic violence accusations, but they try to use that to push him out. And this goes on all summer. They hold him back. He don't get ready. He got to work out by himself. Everybody working out with their receivers, Cam Ward working out with Restrepo, but nobody working out with Sheduer. And then he makes it to the 53-man roster. And he plays his first game, and everybody cheers. But then they cheat him the second time because they didn't want people to cheer for him. And then the guy that's not better than him, Dink Dink, he gets the QB too. And then he starts hanging out with Flacco. Then they go to London and they play, and he and Flacco hanging out together. And the next thing you know, Flacco gets traded. And Sheduer says that was fast. I remember he said that. That was fast. Huntley helping Sheduer. Huntley gets cut. And Dylan gets to the one. Then they just lose it. Sheduer just over there on the sideline. Okay, so they really don't want me to help them win. That's what it is. And then he just keep doing his thing. And the next thing you know, here comes the president of the United States. Again, I told you so. And then Sheduer gets the start. Then he go out there and they put him in the Ravens game. They could have announced it. They didn't want to. And he gets robbed. And he tells them. They thought he was going to cry. Maybe they thought he was going to pack up and move. I don't know what they thought. But I know they went to get something. And then what happens? I'm fine. My house got robbed. I'm good. Now, the house that I saw for Thanksgiving, was that the same house? That's a nice house, by the way. If that was the same house, it takes a lot to live there. I hope they got somebody standing outside. I don't know if that's the same house or not. I couldn't tell you. But it's a nice house regardless. And then what happens? He plays in another game and he wins despite them. And the coach is like, damn. Everybody getting on the coach. And then we just come up into real time, right? You could see they still trying to set him up. But all the while, he's being set up. So is his father. And you're like, where are all these weird stories coming from? From the school, look like they ungrateful. From the Big 12, look like they ungrateful. People probably like, what the hell did Coach Prime do? Nothing. It's time for you to go. That's why we gave Livingston the money before you, because we knew back then your time was up. Facts. So yeah, it's a good movie. I wish I knew how to make movies, or I wish I was interested in it or had a passion for it, because damn sure it's some good stories out here. Instead, what other coaches are leaving CU? I don't know. Anybody else know? Instead, I wonder did Sheduer hire detectives concerning his home invasion? I sure hope he did. I just needed Bucky to tell me. All I needed to know is why Bucky wasn't there, because that's the piece of the puzzle that I need. I'm like, that's all I needed to know. If he like, well, they didn't invite me, then I'm like, really? Oh, okay. Because think about what I told y'all. When you look at the video that Bucky had when they was at the house, when he was out there, all of the interesting parts, the parts that the most viewed parts, were Bucky's face, Florida's face, that outside scene where you can see the camera, you can see the license plate on the look like a Cullinan or some kind of truck, and you can kind of see when Sheduer was talking to Jordan Seaton. So it's like somebody was studying. They didn't study what a safe was. They didn't study what a shoes. They didn't study the shirts on the floor or whatever that was in that. They didn't study none of that. None of it. And they ransacked his bedroom and went through his nightstands and took the contents. Inside job. Instead, and this new guy is bringing in players he can trust. Hopefully, it will be hard to turn any of them. Well, remember, the first coach brought new players. The first OC, they brought players from their other schools. And you see what happened. But I think this might go a little different. Here's the thing. I think this might work out. But understand, Livingston's still over there. So that's room for malfeasance for 3 games. And then they make the switch and it works out perfectly. Because I do believe they have done so much that they trying to run Prime off that I really do believe it was all premeditated. I actually believe that when Cleveland went to pre-draft with Sheduer, I think when Sheduer hit number 1, Cleveland targeted him. I think they pre-draft with him up until 2 weeks before the draft, which is bait and switch. And I think it was premeditated for them to get him as an undrafted free agent and everything to carry out the way it was. That's what I think. He just got drafted before he hit undrafted free agent status. He was going to always go to Cleveland. He was going to always be held back. That's it. It said, you do a great job of breaking down these folks and their mindset. It said, you can't fathom how wicked these folks are. Yeah. That's what I'm like. People don't understand. I'm like it's crazy out here. Like, what Stefanski's doing is Stefanski is fixated on taking Sheduer down. And I mean fixated. Right? When Sheduer got robbed, everybody sweated had something to do with it. That says a lot. That says a lot. And look at where we are since then, right? We see Stefanski pretending with Sheduer. That's all we see. We see him pretending, right? When did he start pretending? Was it after the robbery? Did you find him on camera before the robbery? Like, look at a press conference before the robbery and look at a press conference after the robbery. I'm sure it was a press conference on the day of. When did he start pretending? Haslam was pretending when them kids out there with them kids. Them wasn't his grandkids, and people let people believe that lie. Just like they let people believe the lie that the defensive coordinator's son called Sheduer. No, he didn't. I don't think none of that happened like they said. Because they showed us what they were capable of. When people show you what they're capable of, you can't never turn your back on them. Matter of fact, you shouldn't even associate with them. So you got to look at when Stefanski started pretending with Sheduer. Look at when the robbery happened. Understand, they knew he was going to play. Dylan likely didn't have a real concussion. Look at how much they use fake injuries. Look at Teller telling us, I'm not injured. But they said he had a calf injury. Then it's all this confusion afterwards to throw people off. I'm like, why is there so much confusion about why Teller isn't playing? And how can you say Teller is underperforming when we have Batonio and Conklin diving? What the hell? See, all of that's a lie. And Stefanski is exposed in a lie. And you got half the people out here trying to find him another job because he busted for a lot. And the whole Ethan thing, Teller thing, just exposed you retaliating against Teller because he lifted up Sheduer. I don't think Stefanski liked that Wyatt Teller said, yeah, I've only heard Sheduer's cadence 3 times. That meant Stefanski didn't give us time. So I believe that must be where the underperforming comes from. And Mary Cabot just told everybody a lie that was likely fed to her, that Stefanski been watching film and Teller been underperforming. So you mean to tell me, thank you, Mary Cabot again, Stefanski been watching film, but he didn't see Batonio and he didn't see Conklin diving. You see? There's no way you can look at what Teller is doing and not see Conklin because they next to each other. So Stefanski saw what he wanted to see, or they lying. Stefanski feel like Wyatt Teller got out of line by supporting Sheduer, because remember what I did to Tony Brown. Well, let me see you do it to Wyatt Teller. And you see they care. Stefanski doing Wyatt Teller dirty. I'm like, why y'all didn't care that he did Tony Brown dirty? See, this is what happened. You should have been caring. And you'd be somewhere near the playoffs. But now it's happening when we got how many games left? 4, 5, 6? I don't even know. And there are no consequences. Seeming like Stefanski's still going to be the head coach. Jerry Jeudy going to still be out there trying to skip to Malou or slow down. Conklin and Batonio going to still be over there diving. And Sheduer and Quishan got to protect themselves so they can hand off the ball. They're going to make it near impossible for Sheduer to throw the ball. But that's where Tevin Jenkins and number 72, KT, come in at. And see how they got them doing double duty? That's also part of the problem. So you didn't want to pay 2 other people, so you using them to do double duty. And Cornelius Lucas can also be ambidextrous and play both ways, but they won't even let him play. The fact that Stefanski looked at film and chose to ignore Batonio and Conklin, and at some point Ethan, and he mad at Teller, he benches Teller. Come on now, that's fraud, that's collusion. You meddling. You trying to make it impossible for Sheduer to get the ball out. You busted now. The Titans game will be very interesting. Very interesting. Because you ain't hold Jeudy accountable and he a loose cannon, so I don't know what he gonna do. It said, see a lot of former NFL players taking over these HBCU's teams with China through ANTA money coming in. It might be on. Oh, I didn't hear anything about that. It said, and the Heisman Trophy should have been Sheduer's. They should have won it together or something. It says, Stefanski is a bad actor. You can tell he's lying every time he opens his mouth. Right. It said, can these black athletes get together and change this thing around? Well, they could, but do you see what's happening? Do you see how they pit wide receiver one against the quarterback? Both are black. It only takes one. Jerry Jeudy didn't have to fall for that. Did they use Myles Garrett? He on defense, but you know, maybe he couldn't do nothing. Why they ain't use somebody else? Somebody said they used Ford and Tillman. They say they used Tillman. Tina showed me a clip of Ford running by his person. I'm like, oh wow. So is it the vets against the rookies? The hungry dogs? Probably. That's that jealousy y'all were talking about. And see, Jerry Jeudy not a leader. If Jerry Jeudy was a leader, none of this would happen. You know what? He would tell all of them, just squash that, guys. Because see, Jeudy and Sheduer are supposed to be like this. But they had Jeudy sharing a locker with Flacco, who ain't here. They made sure that Jeudy didn't build that chemistry with Sheduer, so they pivoted him to Dylan. And because he want to be liked, he went along with it. Because he want to be liked. He needs their approval. Why else are you wearing a Star David? You are not Jewish. But you wanted them to know who you were. What you was willing to do. Never heard of a player having to apologize for wearing a Star David. Ever. I think Sheduer is too smart to have any incriminating on video or flash drive, only because he knows that's a lot of famous black men downfall. Right. I totally agree, but they was definitely looking for something. Aaron McNair was drafted high from HBCU. Yeah, and here's my thing. It's not that they couldn't draft Travis from an HBCU. They didn't want to. They didn't want to start that trend. They know Sheduer was over there. They ain't wanted him either. I mean, hell, between Sheduer and Travis, how can I not draft one or the other? Or both? That would have been, see, they don't ever want to appear like they're doing something improprietary that's based along the lines of racial discrimination. They don't ever want to look like that. But they really out here acting like what? A whites only country club. So they got Coach Prime after he got Travis, bring him back our way. And that's what happened. And now you could go. And it's like they keep sending him messages by disrupting his recruiting, because that's what they did at Jackson State. They came and got him, and they decided who it was going to be, and it was Colorado. And Colorado had already had some other black coaches that they gave short stints to. Coach Prime is long overdue. So now they getting the Big 12 involved. We can't run you off. We're going to get the Big 12 involved, the whole damn conference. So that means the refs is not going to be on your side. So you might not want to quit because we don't want to pay you. But you're not going to win nothing. And life going to be hard. It said, how do they do this to CP and want to elevate the Mannings? Racism. You got to understand, the NFL's whole race norming, they live like that. They really believe in that, right? They really believe that white people are superior to black people in cognitive thinking. They really believe that. That's why they've been practicing it since 1920 up until they got on the hand in 2021. It's only 2025. And you haven't stopped. You just got caught. So you find a way to cheat, just like Stefanski. Stefanski can no longer abuse Sheduer, so he get other people to cheat Sheduer. He's not going to stop. People don't want to believe that 9 times out of 10, he was hired because he is racist. He was hired because they knew what he would do. He was hired so they could get Mason Graham and what's the other guy? Carson Schlesinger, and pay them more money and use Andrew Berry to do it. Stefanski got more power than Andrew Berry. Pay attention. Andrew Berry cannot get Stefanski to stop devaluing his draft picks. Sheduer, and now you're trying to get Quashawn Junkins hurt. Put Isaiah Bond out there over Jeudy. No, because then it's going to look like all of Andrew Berry's guys are better. They are. He's not a good judge of talent. He's just trying to whiten up the team. That's his job. People called it out early on that the Cleveland Browns are trying to make most of the skill positions white, or hell, the quarterback too. It's that there is a war going on in the Cleveland Brown organization. Oh, facts. It said he know now that you're saying it. It said this podcast is insightful. You and people are in here with the gift of discernment. Thank you so much. I appreciate it, B. Thomas. Thank you. And thank you for becoming a member. And you know what? Somebody became a member. Somebody else became a member. I meant to thank them. Oh, their name went away. B. Thomas and somebody else became a member. So y'all make sure y'all go start watching the other members' videos. Y'all gonna like it. And Friday will be live at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I already know what I want to talk about. So while it's good that Schumer is gone, this feels a lot like Coach Prime's replacement because of how they already been mistreated him between the Big 12 and CU putting out this financial information without the whole story to run off recruits. That's it. That movie is named Pride, which is a true story. Oh, okay. I was talking about what's the name of the movie that the kids that were swimming. It was kind of like that with Jackson State. Like Coach Prime went, they didn't have a lot of resources, but then they became victorious. And then, that's what I meant. That part. That's a good movie. It said Terrence Howard and his swim team. Movie is called Pride. Thank you, Monique. It said, and they act like the first game never happened. Which one? Which one you talking about? Is your name Deja? I realized I was calling you Daz. Wait a minute. I think that's Deja. Welcome, Deja. Welcome. Remember how they were acting and when Sheduer beat the Panthers? Stefanski was like trying to figure out what to do. Boy, if they go out here and beat the Titans, I think Stefanski's head gonna combust. They need to fire him. Because here's the thing. Vegas have already said the Browns gonna win by a field goal, right? Technically, the Browns should win. They got the number 2 defense, and then Sheduer has already beat the Raiders. So why wouldn't I beat, the Titans? But Stefanski is already out here plotting, and people been putting it forward that who the hell asked these players to take dives? Whether it's Jerry Jeudy, Batonio, in my opinion, Ethan, and what's the other? Conklin. Now notice, people wanted to talk about Jerry Jeudy and why he should be sent packing. Where is that energy for Batonio, Ethan, and Conklin? Where's that energy? See, it's not there. It's not there. People just want to keep saying they're not good. That's a lie. Because if they weren't good, they could have replaced them. They're doing exactly what they're supposed to. And I didn't watch Deshaun play. But I'm willing to bet if I go back and watch Deshaun play, they did the same thing. So they trying to get either Quinshon hurt or Sheduer hurt or Dylan Sampson or anybody that Andrew Berry brought in that's not Mason Graham and Carson Schlesinger. This is so far from playing competitive football and trying to win games. Kevin Stefanski is probably listening to Sheduer every press conference where they were asking him about his sauce, trying to figure out how to strategize to get the team to lose. So since he's already recruited about 4 to 5 people, including Jerry Jeudy, and some people say Cedric Tillman, some think Jerome Ford, who else going to be on the take in this game? Who else is he going to bench that could help the team win? Stefanski is strategizing to lose. And he seemed a little desperate to me. I think he's a little desperate. He's so desperate. He talking about, Sheduer's outstanding. I'm like, yeah, okay. Yeah, but you stabbing him in the back at the same time. It's the same thing. And he not going to quit. And he act like we stupid. See, here's the thing. Just because you think we're stupid does not mean we are. You are the one. You the one getting busted. So who's stupid? It said, I wish a black man could do a movie about this and change the names. You can. I think you can. I think if people write a book, they should write a book about it and then turn it into a movie. Let's see. What would we call it? I have a name. Okay, I'm gonna tell you the name of the book. Quarter Black. QUA, how we spell quarter, like football, but BLACKKK. And put that part in white. So the word black and the white, KKK in white, and quarter black. That's already been something we're having for the longest. So I figure I might as well just say it. Yep. I said I was going to start a podcast, or, I had Spotify, right? And then I asked y'all, do y'all listen to Spotify? And y'all was like, no. So I was going to use that Quarter Black as a series to talk about what's kind of going on. But I guess I'm too busy to do it. So feel free to use it. Quarter Black. Totally different house. Okay, so it is a different house. Okay, thank you. So I asked the question, the house for Thanksgiving. Y'all know Shiloh's at over a million views on his Thanksgiving video. That's so good, right? Because Shiloh was like, yeah, I got to get a regular job. I'm like, Shiloh, I don't think so. And then he hit 1 million views. I'm like, Shiloh, this is your job. You need to keep going. You need to keep going. He need to keep going in this content space. That was just with family, right? That's not even other people. That's your family. You around family all the time. So he need to keep going. Shiloh, if you see this, keep going. Some people say, no, it's not the same house. Tina said it's not the same house. Totally different house. It's been reported that Carl Reed also was involved in his hire. Okay, that's fine. That's fine. I know Carl Reed probably told him. Carl Reed probably said, you might end up the next head coach. He could. I think he better than Livingston, but that's who they paid. Anybody know how long Brennan's contract is supposed to be for? Somebody said we need the president to investigate them. Tina crazy. It said, could it be that Sheduer knows, and that's what really opened his eyes about Cleveland and his teammates? Of course. Oh, he definitely knows. When Sheduer went to that bench and put his head down, he knew, because they was wild in the Ravens game. That was crazy. I was like, I picked up on that. I said, so every third down, you're going to let him get sacked. Oh, okay. And everybody has been pointing out how they try to run the ball so much so that Sheduer ends up in 3rd and long. So he can't get nowhere with the pass. But he can, right? So they keep coming up. They actually be strategizing to defeat Sheduer Sanders. They not even trying to beat Tennessee. They trying to beat Sheduer. Putting him, running the ball on the first drive, or the second one, the first down, or the second one, making sure he get, and look at what happened on 4th and 1. Look at how they started diving for the ground, for the dirt diving, rather than letting Quashawn get 1 yard, helping Quashawn to get 1 yard. They let all the white jerseys pile on him. That kid could have got hurt. They don't care. They don't care. What do you like about Livingston? Oh, what don't you like about Livingston? I think people are blindsided by Livingston's innocent look. But he knew when they prioritized him, it was to replace Coach Prime. I believe that he intentionally does not know when to play man or zone. He don't. He'll leave our guys out there burned one-on-one. And when they play zone, sometimes it worked. He waited until late to put people like Tawfiq Bayard out there, to put the right schemes, to make sure the coaches have the right players in place. It was almost like he was letting anything go because, the coaches behind him were hired by Coach Prime, right? So I told y'all in the season, I said, Livingston look like he don't have nothing to lose. He don't even care. And he don't. And he got another whole year, and it's strategically through the end of the 2026 season. That's why I said, he's still over there. He's still over there. So I'm glad Coach Prime got a new offensive coordinator, guys. But you need to be cautiously optimistic because of the tomfoolery from CU acting ungrateful about Coach Prime, running off his recruits, talking about we ain't got no money, to 2026, and not putting the fine print out there. Well, we might have it. Trying to make it seem like Coach Prime get paid too much, so we done used up all the money. Then the Big 12 GM running off the recruits from Colorado, telling them they don't need to come to Colorado because we don't have money like that. That's the message they keep trying to send to recruits before recruiting, before signing day. And now they say Coach Prime's recruiting class is ranked 100th. So it's just ugliness. They being ugly towards Coach Prime. They piling on. It seems like they want him to quit. So it said Livingston came from the NFL, so they're all connected, right? It said Deion Sanders Jr. It's a shame seeing so many grown men. Oh, I think I might have been the first person to like that post. He facts. I don't know who he was talking about, but it was true. It was true. It didn't matter who it was about, but it was true. It said they're all connected to sabotage. Yeah, Sheduer. Yeah, facts. So the little girl was saying everybody in Cleveland wanted Dylan to play. Okay, little girl. If they wanted Dylan to play, they want to lose. Dylan did play. He was 1-5. And I don't even know how the hell he got that one game. I think they gave it to him. Was that Miami or was that Green Bay? I think they cheated Jordan Love out of that game. Or either it was Miami. I don't even know what game it was. It don't even matter. He 1-5. And Stefanski want to get back to him because the goal is to lose. So she didn't say everybody want Dylan to play so they can win. She said everybody want Dylan to play so they can lose. Why? Because if they win with Sheduer, what you think the next rallying cry is going to be from the fans? He should be QB1. You don't need to get a quarterback next year. And it's funny how they talking about Mendoza. I said Mendoza go to Indiana, right? I ain't see Haslam bring Andrew Berry to Indiana, but I saw Andrew Berry at UT in Ohio State game. So you see how that foolishness they be talking? See, they think they slick. See, Mendoza's not white. So they know if they start talking about Julian Sand or the Manning kid, see, they trying not to talk about the Manning kid. Because at first they were tracking him and they had him at the top and then they had Lenore Sellers. Lenore Sellers is light years better than this kid. But you see how they moved him out the way, which is why I told his daddy to took that money. If you black and you coming out of college and they offering you $8 million to stay, I'm going to need you to get that money. And then you worry about the NFL. Because all they're going to do is devalue you. Because that's what's happening right now. Where Dante Moore at? I ain't heard his name in a minute. What's going on with that? What a kid in Arkansas that was supposed to be winning the Heisman. What's going on with that? This will likely be the first draft with no black quarterbacks in the first round. And it is by design. By design. Livingston was sabotaging CU all day. It said they want Deshaun Watson to come in when Sheduer gets injured. Right. But here's the thing. When Dylan was out there, they ain't want Deshaun nowhere. They ain't want him nowhere. I'm like, Stefanski is so desperate to keep Sheduer off the field, or if he on the field, to make sure he doesn't win, that now he willing to go get Deshaun. I said, so now you got two black quarterbacks that can ball out for you, and you won't neither one of them. But look at God. Because look at what he did to Deshaun last year to move him out the way. Then look at what he did this year to hold Sheduer back. And now Sheduer's QB1, and now Deshaun gonna get his opportunity. Sheduer moves like he ain't worried about nothing. So if he play a few games and then Deshaun take over, okay. We know who Sheduer is. People don't know who Deshaun is. And I think Deshaun should be allowed to be traded. But they might want to go back to him next year. I'm like, Deshaun, make sure they don't get you hurt so the insurance company can pay them again. That's it. So they try to pit Deshaun against Sheduer, right? Sheduer ain't worried about that. Sheduer already a good player. If Deshaun Watson plays, it'll be to get their money's worth. That guaranteed that money that Deshaun already has. They ain't even paying that. $46 million came from the insurance company. So that's who ought to be happy that Deshaun is out there. I'm like, so I ain't got to pay you no more money. But again, I'm like, Deshaun playing don't take nothing away from Sheduer. It really doesn't. Read what Deion Jr. said. Yeah, I think I did. I think what he said about the grown people. When you see Sheduer defending Kevin, do you believe he's oblivious? Sheduer has not ever defended Kevin Stefanski. Sheduer said, I'm not going to let you get me roped up about my head coach. I'm not going to do that. I'm not about to disrespect any head coach. That's not defending Stefanski. If they asked about the sabotage and he says, well, we're good now, because the way things were for what's going on, that's a door open for you to go see what the hell has been going on. He has never defended Stefanski. Never. He's saying Stefanski's a good coach now because Stefanski's pretending. Do you really think Sheduer don't know Stefanski's pretending? Do you really think Sheduer believe Jerry Jeudy? It's his job to play the game. And somebody taught it to him well. And most of it he learned in the fire. But if you notice that when he came back to that podium, that professional pushback, we're gonna leave that in the locker room. They can't do nothing. They exploit what these young players don't know, right? All young players know, rookies, is that they have to interact with the media. From what I can hear, they trying to find Stefanski another job. Stefanski trying to it's like Stefanski's desperate. He seems desperate to me. And the reason I say he's desperate, he's getting too many people involved. This is why Wyatt Teller ended up telling. Because you're getting too many people involved with your little plot. You can't do it no more. So then it's Jerry Jeudy. You had already started with the lineman. You had already worked with Jerry Jeudy. Then Jerry Jeudy causing a problem. And then the O-lineman get busted. And Wyatt Teller comes out and said, I don't have no calf injury. And that opens up a can of worms. And now everybody trying to find him a job. Talking about if he get fired, he gonna go here or there. Bye. Because whatever fool hired him, good luck with that. Good luck with that congressional hearing, because it's coming. I'm like, because he should probably be going to jail. Yeah. Seriously. He's desperate to make sure that Sheduer doesn't have support. So he's intimidating people, likely bribing people. He's been working all season trying to pay people up and show people who's aligned with whom, and they're getting busted. He's been busted. Judy's been busted. Batonio's been busted. Conklin is busted. And Ethan is busted. Because I busted him first. So I put him out there. People want to overlook that, but that's important. So they getting busted. So now let me go get Deshaun. Okay. If they block for Deshaun, then we're going to know what the problem is. You told them not to block for Sheduer, so go ahead. It said the ETs have the loser mentality and the rookies are not. Oh, the vets have a loser mentality and the rookies are not used to losing and don't understand why the vets like being called losers and talked about bad as people talk about Cleveland. Yeah. See, the Hungry Dogs have come in hungry. They want to win. They see they got a defense that can get it done. They like, hell, we can get it done. They fighting their own head coach and the veterans. If anybody that want Dylan out there is a loser, because he can't get it done. He cannot get it done. And because he can't keep Sheduer off the field, now he want to go to Sheduer to pitch Sheduer. I'm like, Sheduer ain't worried about Deshaun. I think Deshaun does deserve his opportunity after the way they got him injured to get that money. Yeah. I want Deshaun to get the hell out of there. It's there about an owner who also brought Warren Moon to the Houston Oilers. Who is that? Oh, it's Steve McNair. It said Jeudy looks like the overseer in the color purple plastic plan. I don't remember the overseer in the color purple. It said the vets are used to losing and the rookies are looking at them like, how can y'all just sit here and just lose every game and be fine with it? Right. Because what did people say? What did people say? People said the younger generation that's starting to come out of college is different. The fact that these guys are hungry and they're all millionaires. Isaiah Bond, Quinshon Junkins, should be Dylan Sampson. If not, he close to it. I forgot what round he was drafted. I think he is too. I think they all are millionaires. Sheduer, right? So it looks like Stefanski has pit the veterans against the rookies who want to win, because Stefanski is not supposed to win this season. People are talking about how the Browns draft picks are starting to dissipate because when they traded Travis, they got that pick they used for Mason Graham. And then they got a first round pick from the Jaguars, but the Jaguars is out here 8-4. They out here winning or something. Like they on their way. And the more they climb, that pick loses value. So that's one pick that loses value. But I thought they had another first round pick. Maybe it wasn't high up, but it was first round. So see, they trying to get to first or second. They was already second last year with Sheduer, but they didn't want that. So I think they were counting on that pick from Travis, but it's beginning to lose value because the Jags out here trying to win. They say, screw y'all. So the Jags ain't working with the Browns to hold that pick down. They're like, nope, we got a shot. We got a shot to redeem ourselves and get the hell on. So we not worried. So it seems that Stefanski is trying to lose. So maybe they could be at the bottom, even though they already have a first round pick. But they don't want to win. They didn't get Dylan to win because they would have got Tez Johnson, his wide receiver, and they did not. They let Tez fall to late. Let's see who has the first round pick. Let me see what picks. What picks do the Browns have in 2026? Let's see. Round 1, Browns own their own pick. So they have their own pick. I'm going to share this with y'all. So they have their own pick. They have 10 draft picks. They had 11 last year. They got 10 now. So basically the same haul, right? I don't know what you're going to do with all these people because you keep stacking up people and you keep cutting people, but you say you're rebuilding since 2020, which is insane to me. That's scamming, bro. You're not rebuilding. You scamming these folks. You stalling. So here you go. Now you can see what picks they have so we can all be on the same page. 2026 draft with their own picks in the first 5 rounds and multiple picks from other teams acquired through trades. These include 2. Hold on one second. Oh, I got to take... Okay. These include 2 first-round picks, 1 second-round pick, 3 third-round picks, and 1 fourth-round pick, 3 seventh-round picks through the specific round, though the specific rounds and number of picks will be refined as transactions occur. So here's the thing. I have 2 first-round picks. Jacksonville's pick. What is Jacksonville's first pick? Isn't that the number 2? Let me see. Jacksonville's. What is Jacksonville's? So if they lose, they'll have 3 first-round picks. I think the Jets are dead last, right? Jacksonville first-round pick. So whatever Jacksonville got going on is what they can get. The Jacksonville Jaguars do not currently own their original 2026 first-round pick, having traded with the Cleveland Browns as part of the deal with Travis Hunter. In 2025, while they lack their own first rounder, they've acquired several other picks. So whatever that pick was, and I don't know. I think now y'all can tell me because I'm not sure about this. I think wherever the Jaguars fall is where they determine what they pick. So they have a first round pick, but there's 32 rounds. So it depends on the standings and where they end up. I'm assuming that's where they pick at, right? So I have 2 picks already. The Jaguars pick that they gave me, but I don't know what it's going to be. I have my own pick, and I don't know what that's going to be apparently, right? So they've got 2 picks. But I think they wanted to go first. But see, once the Manning kid couldn't come out, they lost. And I said, I think they're going to try to roll with Dylan next year and lose again. Because Haslam came out in September and said, what? Yeah, we rebuilding for another 2 to 3 years. That was the way of saying, I'm not prioritizing Sheduer. But see, what the Browns messed up is they try to hold Sheduer hostage and they getting exposed. They should have traded Sheduer. In fact, it was said after the Panthers game, he should have been traded. Yep. But you see what happened when people want to come, they want to act ignorant and look at, they on fire. People are now pointing out that Sheduer Sanders was not a 5th round, their talent quarterback. They coming back, they keep coming back to that conversation, and they gonna always come back to that conversation. So now you hear people saying Sheduer just needs time, but what they should be saying is Sheduer Sanders would have been fine had he been allotted time to develop. See, they don't want to put that on Stefanski. I don't know what it is about Stefanski that everybody want to protect, and all these players want to gamble their careers away to do what he say. I have no idea, but that's what's going on. That's what's going on. I have no idea. The one thing I knew about what they said about his father when I did research is that he got his job only because of who he knew. That's how Stefanski got his job. So it just says, you're exactly right about the racism. Yeah, it is. It's very prevalent, period, right? It said, read what Deion Jr. said. Okay, put it in the comments. I'll just read it. I just want to put it on the screen. They want this to be a white society, no black or brown people. Yeah, I believe so. I think the problem is they are functioning like a whites only country club in 2025, a month away from 2026, and it don't work like that, right? With social media, you can't do that openly. You're gonna have to be having your little private meetings like you did in the 1960s and keep your hood on, because you're gonna get outed on social media, and that's what they're running into, right? They fighting tooth and nail not to have 17 black quarterbacks. And while you succeeded in the draft and you're succeeding in the season, this battle with NFL fans behind Sheduer, and it should be behind Lamar. I'm not a Baltimore Ravens fan. I don't know what the hell they be thinking, but they should have had this fight long time ago. When Lamar got robbed of his third MVP, they should have had an uproar, but you see they didn't. And that's why they expect the Sheduerians to just be quiet, because nobody else gonna say nothing. They don't like accountability. Understand that. CP wanted to get his kids and Travis in the NFL. That's why they went to CU. Well, Travis was going to get there regardless. But you see what they did to Sheduer. It said the gig is up for Stefanski. Yep, I hope so. It said, did you see Kevin's face when they got that touch 49ers game? Yep. And he immediately went to plotting to shut down and manipulate the offensive line to weaken it so Sheduer can't get a touchdown off next time. The Titans game will be interesting. He should already be fired. This is crazy, right? But it's just gonna continue on. More to be exposed. Ask to fund the movie, crowdfund. You have to know how to make it, but that is a good way. You could crowdfund. Hey, how you doing, Julian? Thank you. It said, we love Shiloh. He's my favorite Sanders. Facts. So the backlash was Travis. Hold on, y'all. I have got to answer this phone. Just wait a second. Okay, so what time is it? That was my cue. I got to go. I want to read a few more of these comments. I just think in the South, our folks have a mentality of it is what it is. Nah, not necessarily. Not necessarily. I wouldn't say that. As somebody that's well traveled, no. Somebody that live in Atlanta, no. No, I wouldn't say that. I think the problem is people don't want to hold these teams accountable. Now, don't get me wrong. Certain franchises, it just depends on the franchise, right? Certain franchises will hold their teams accountable. But like, I think Kiel, one of our members, was telling us that they finally, look at what it took for the Giants fans to hold the Giants accountable. They had to lose Saquon Barkley, right? The Browns know they bad. They been bad. But look at what happened when Sheduer first got there. It's like they were uninformed. That's just the best way to say it. And they were like, well, yeah, we want to see what Dylan could do. What happened to all of those Dylan people? And honestly, the fans liked Sheduer to the point they had cookies. They had cookies of Sheduer, some kind of Sheduer cookies at the game or at the tailgate or somewhere. They got some kind of cookies. I'm like, I'm gonna eat some of them cookies. Not like cookies, but I don't know what it was, but they had some Sheduer cookies. I was like, and people did videos talking about it. If you don't understand how much the fans love Sheduer, that's why they boycotted. That's new for them. And the last thing they expected was their fan base to boycott for a black quarterback, because they didn't do that for Deshaun, right? They didn't do that for Deshaun Kaiser. They didn't do that for Jameis Winston. But for Sheduer, right? They have no problem because they see he's good. And they felt like Dylan was being forced on them. And I've heard their own fan base saying things like, how is it that Dylan has so much opportunity and he didn't prove anything? And he didn't prove anything. That's a good question. And why is it Sheduer didn't get the time? Why is Kevin Stefanski not being held accountable? Instead, you see people try to find Kevin Stefanski another job because they know this one ain't going to work out. People have said it's Sheduer or Stefanski. I said that early on. I said this cannot happen. I said Stefanski got to go. Stefanski should be banned from the NFL with the scandal, the way how toxic of a cesspool the Browns are. It's scandal written and it's escalating to the top. This Titans game, if he said Sheduer, would everybody have seen with this viral clip? Or if it's Jerry Jeudy again or somebody else, oh, it's going to be on. I'm like, hell, he might get booed when he come on the field. They've already booed Dylan. They've already booed Jerry Jeudy. I don't know if they're willing to boo the white guys. But, you know, that clip is viral. And the William Fracture guy that put it out there, he said it. Who told them to do this? Because you know somebody told them to go dive. Stefanski. He can't sabotage Sheduer directly, so he got to get people to do it. The problem is they're afraid to trade Sheduer at the moment. I think so too. But why would they be afraid though? I think, well, I say they're afraid to trade Sheduer because of the backlash that they gonna get. Because Sheduer is the best chance they got to win, and they keep holding him back, which tells you Stefanski should have been fired already. When Sheduer won that Raiders game, instead of Stefanski getting fired, they left Stefanski in place, and he just enlisted some more people to cut up in the 49ers game. Yeah. And that's on Haslam. There's nothing Haslam would be doing that he don't know about this. And what you think you think Stefanski gonna stop it? No, because the reason we're even having this conversation is because he benched Wyatt Teller. And then the clip went viral of what's really going on, and now people are saying, how the hell you gonna bench Wyatt Teller and he the only one blocking over here and the other dude on the end that's quiet? Cam, somebody. I asked, what the hell is Cornelius Lucas? And that's why I said Stefanski is sabotaging Andrew Berry. Yep. Cornelius Lucas, he paid Cornelius Lucas $5 million. I don't even know if he even stepped on the field this year. Season is almost over. And when people start looking at the books, now why did you pay him $5 million? Because he didn't even do nothing. That's Stefanski. Just like Stefanski is blocking Sheduer, Stefanski, I do believe, is blocking Cornelius Lucas because Cornelius probably going to block for Sheduer. I told you it's not a coincidence that the white guys are not the ones not blocking. I told you we got to put a question mark on number 72 because he plays on both sides, and I think he thought he was lined up in the wrong place, and he not familiar with Sheduer, but I ain't giving nobody no pass, but I'm going to give you a minute to see. I'm going to be seeing what you're doing in this game. Everybody going to be watching the O-line. Everybody going to be watching Jerry Jeudy. Everybody going to be watching every receiver to see if they have these mysterious drops that could interrupt advancing the play. They busted. You can't keep doing this and people not know what time it is. You're busted. You could still keep your job, but you're busted. You are already being watched. You're busted. It said all that weird plays and nobody's talking about it. It said we need you to call out every unorthodox football call. All right, we might. I told you I had to kind of figure out how to do it because you gotta watch how you can do it. So I think I know how to do it. So if something weird happened in this game, we're gonna talk about it. I think I know how to get it done. So they don't want me analyzing plays because I went in on Chase Daniels earlier today. If y'all didn't watch the podcast earlier today, where we were watching the video that's viral, y'all need to go watch it because it's good. I split it up into 3 videos that are out there. Another one's coming out there about 11:45. It should be out there. Probably another part is gonna drop tomorrow. These are shareable videos that y'all can share to like get it out there or hit the hype button to hype it up so it can get further reach. But I called out Chase Daniels, right? Because why? Chase Daniels, I don't even know if he's ever done any sort of kind of breakdown when Dylan was doing games. But I know that he analyzed Sheduer. And I said, how the hell can you analyze Sheduer and not see these players taking dives? There is nothing incompetent about that. They know people were going to see this. And they didn't care. And they could have gotten Quinshon Judkins hurt. And that just opens the door for people to go back and look at 2024 to see if when Deshaun was sacked excessively 33 times through 7 games, if these same dudes were taking dives or letting Deshaun get injured. Quinshon Judkins could have got injured. They let him, and these other players on the other team need to wise up now. Come on now, y'all know what's going on out here. Y'all need to find some kind of way to hold back and don't buy into this foolishness. Like, let's just be real here. So, yeah, they called out everybody that was black, whether it was Jerry Jeudy, the defensive coordinator for the Ravens, the whole entire defense for the Ravens, but they ain't even call out the Browns O-lineman. I did. And now we back with another clip from the O-lineman with additional people, and they're all white. It's not a coincidence. Judy's an idiot. Let's just be honest for signing up for that. And people need to see what he got for it. Somebody need to see what all of them got for it and how these conversations to enlist their help. Did he send up smoke signals? Was it a text message? Was it a look? Was it because I invited you to play golf? Was it because I told you who I wanted you to align with? Intimidation, coercion, retaliation, bribery. This all needs to be looked into. The Browns are trying to lose football games. And they trying to sabotage Sheduer, Quinshon Judkins, and all of Andrew Berry's draft picks. Andrew Berry's black. It said the problem is they're afraid to trade Sheduer at the moment because of that backlash. It said Colorado defense is still bad. They can't stop the run or the pass. Again, like I said, Livingston's still over there. It said why they sat Pat Schumer down. Livingston started folding the defense when they said, yeah, that's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about. The new OC. You see how Sheduer got to overcome the Browns? The new offensive coordinator has to overcome Livingston all season. We're gonna be there. We're gonna be watching. I'm rooting for them. I hope they can get it done. I hope, like Sheduer, managed to get these touchdowns off despite Kevin Stefanski setting him up to fail. I hope Coach Prime and his new offensive coordinator and all them coaches do what they got to do to overcome Livingston. He one person. Y'all got to find out. Y'all need to put y'all best people on the field at all times. And if you think you need to get some people with some speed that don't get burned, because I don't know what be going on. And you better stop the run. You got to do that, right? Because that's how he gonna get you. And yeah, he responsible for the schemes, but the players can overcome, which is how they beat Iowa State. They were not supposed to beat Iowa State. We're not, but they did. Just like Sheduer, he wasn't supposed to win that Raiders game. The new OC will boost recruiting. Okay, I think they're gonna have to go to the portal. It said, I am sorry, I went down a rabbit hole with my feelings. Don't worry, Julian, it's okay. It's okay. It said Watson will be with the Jets next year. Somebody is. Sheduer, hell, Sheduer. And the question is somebody gonna come for Sheduer? Is it gonna be the Vegas Raiders? I hope so. Make that right. People want it to be the Steelers. They don't want Mike Tomlin to win. They don't want Lamar to win. They don't want Mike Tomlin to win. Do you see the pattern? Do you see the pattern? And there's only one owner that has been nice to Coach Prime. And who is that? The Vegas Raiders. And they trying to run off who? Geno Smith. I don't know what that was about. We're going to have to wait and see. What does the scouting look like at Colorado since the draft? You know how we used to always see the scouts and stuff? Like, what's up with that? I don't know. All right, it's getting late. It's 12:42. All right, so I got to get some sleep anyway, so I can come back tomorrow and a belly flop. Tina said that was a belly flop that the O-lineman did. Yeah, it said the video of the O-lineman doing the belly flop has gone viral on social media. Yep. And not so. Now you see, everybody know that they faking it. Everybody know that they selling out the game. Everybody know they willing to sell out Quinshawn. They willing to sell out Sheduer. They willing to sell out the offense. They willing to sell out the game. Everybody know. Everybody now knows. So let's see what happens going into this Titans game. I feel like Stefanski should be fired before that. And all them O-linemen, Batonio, Ethan, and they probably gonna leave Ethan up, but they took him out of the game last time. And let's see if Kevin Stefanski get his way. That's the point. Let's see if Kevin Stefanski get his way with personnel. He should not, but let's see what happened. Let's see what happened. A Greyhound bus trip. You taking us back to the 1940s to the 1960s. That's hilarious. All right, y'all. I'm going to get myself out of here. This was awesome. This was awesome. So congratulations for Coach Prime. I'm rooting for them. I hope they can overcome all of the setup that's happening at Colorado because they're trying to run Coach Prime off. Don't get it twisted. They pretty much let him hire his replacement. And but I hope that they overcome all of that together. And Livingston, because they're going to have to overcome Livingston. And Sheduer, we'll be back. We'll see what's going on with Sheduer. And he don't seem to be bothered by nothing. I think that that's good, right? I think teams going to come for him. And we're not going to care about Cleveland no more. You know, everything I got that's brown and orange going to stay there because that's really kind of like my favorite colors. I know y'all didn't know that, but throw some teal in there too. But it's the truth. And we just going to flip it to whatever color scheme he going to next. Then again, if he over there next year, which I don't think he's going to be there next year, but he seems confident. He seems poised. He's no longer a rookie. He's handling himself like a vet. Congratulations to Sheduer. This was one hell of a journey. And he talks about how tough it was. And I just hope he can move on in some manner to like a better environment. So shout out to Sheduer Sanders for becoming a vet before the season ends. All right, y'all. So I'm going to get myself out of here. This was awesome. Thank y'all so much. I'll see y'all tomorrow. Thanks for watching What She Said Sports. And don't forget, we're having a watch party. I'm going to schedule it because we're already near the end of the week. It's already Friday. So members, I'll see y'all at 6 o'clock. I'm going to schedule the watch party. So make sure you click the button that said notify me. So we'll be live for the watch party. I forgot what time it is. I think it's 1 o'clock. All right. See y'all later. Have a good one. Thanks for watching What She Said Sports. Good night. We ready for this game. Pushing on.